Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Meeting to order. It is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. We have 18:30 hours or 6:30 p.m. And this is for Crete Monee School Board 201U regular meeting, board meeting. Can I have a roll call, please, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Gallegos,
Here.
I'm here. Dr. Hall,
Here.
Mr. Sawalish, Ms. Venegas, Ms. Woolfolk. Here.
Okay. All right, let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And our mission statement, our Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by our Secretary. And Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by our Vice President. And the mission statement is going to be read by our Secretary. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our mission statement is to engage and empower our students to positively impact their community and future.
Okay, thank you both. And I would need a motion to open up public hearing on the e-learning plan.
so moved.
Moved by Alex,
Second.
second by Janine. Any questions or comments? If not, roll call, please.
Ms. Woolfolk,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Zeit Stumbris is an aye. Mr. Gallegos,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye. Motion carried. All right.
Good evening to our Board of Education, Dr. Coglanese, to our students and families at home, and to our staff that is here and also watching at home. Every 3 years, the district is required to ask the recommendation of the board to renew our e-learning plan. And so we'll go through this evening as part of the public hearing our e-learning plan and what it looks like for the next 3 years. Mrs. Heinlein, do we have any public comments about the e-learning plan? We do. Okay, thank you very much. And so based on the state's Public Act 101-0012, when they established that e-learning is an opportunity to for students to continue to learn at home when there are emergency days only, we are required to give students 5 hours of instruction. We are required to use research-based programs. We are required also to notify our families, train our students and our staff. We are required to work with our unions for the bargain impact that this will have on their work, and make sure that we have electronic access to the materials which students are using, ensuring also that the needs for our special needs population is met, and then require the board adoption from the board and send it to the ROE for renewal. As part of our e-learning, again, the days can only be used in the case of emergency. In most cases, that's been due to weather, or if there's another emergency that may happen at a particular building. They can be used in lieu of emergency days, meaning that we used to be able to tack on days at the end of each school year, and those days would have to be made up. With e-learning, we no longer have to do that. We use those in lieu of those 5 emergency days that are always put on the calendar. They count towards student attendance. They do not, again, have to be made up. They are considered instructional days, and students are expected to complete the learning experiences from the teachers. Assignments count towards student progress, and attendance is taken each day we use an e-learning day. The goal is to minimize any disruption to the student's academic progress, to give students the opportunity to engage in online learning, and again, not having to make up those 5 emergency days at the end. And because we are a one-to-one district and each student has a device, they can use their technology to support that learning from home. The e-learning day procedure, so when an e-learning day is called, it will be used again in the event of an emergency. Teachers have planned their lessons. We are required by law to do a practice day, and we take advantage of that on one of our school improvement days that teachers work with students and say things like, if this were an e-learning day, we're going to walk through what that process looks like of you learning with me on one side of being online and you being virtually on the other end of that class for the day. They are considered regular school days, do not require to be made up. They are in lieu of those 5 emergency days that must always be put on the calendar just in case. And this year, every year we always survey our parents, students, and staff about how e-learning went. We take those recommendations that they give us into consideration. This year, after any e-learning days that we use, we have a committee of 3 teachers who have agreed to be on a committee to just kind of talk about what that looks like and what the experience is and anything that we need to change for the future. The communication plan looks like before we try to make the call as soon as we possibly can. We do have a new platform that we will be using for communication, but once the superintendent makes the call, instead of what was traditionally a snow day, we can use that e-learning day. Administration, the board is notified, and then we start our communication to our parents. Again, we're going to use a new platform that's called Parent Square. We get it out on district websites, phone calls, emails, and all of that goes out as soon as that call is made. Students in grades 3 to 12 normally take home their devices on a daily basis because they're doing work. And there's a typo here that says K2 take them home during the 2nd trimester because of weather. And so right now it says K1, it should say K2. ELC devices are kept at home, and then those parents work on Blizzard boards with those students because they don't transport the device back and forth. Google Classroom is used to facilitate the students' learning, and students are taught how to use Google Classroom once school starts each year. And again, that's part of the practice of teachers working with their students. Attendance is taken, and it does count. Students participate in synchronous and asynchronous learning, meaning that some parts of the learning are with the teacher, and then some parts of the learning they do by themselves. It is monitored through Hapara, is the platform that we make sure that students don't go on websites that they shouldn't be on, and teachers monitor that from their platform. Teachers, if they're having any problems, they contact their building administrators who are always available by phone to them. And then students who are having internet connections at home are given additional time to work on their work, and then the assignments that are completed are due the next day as if they were in school and present. For our special education students with IEPs, those teachers work with the special ed teacher to make sure that their IEP is still being followed. We work with our families, and then Related Services also works with each individual student to make sure their needs are met should an e-learning day be called. And then even if there are multiple days that are called. Tech support is always open on e-learning days, and they do the best to support families and students and staff from home if anyone is experiencing any issues. And again, we know with our weather here, sometimes students, we have power outages, and those students are given 3 days to complete their assignments. If something happens where a student needs longer time, then all of that is considered, and we give those students that time to make up the work. On our website, and when this is approved, the recommendation from the board, we will post this, but there is a live link to FAQs that parents often ask. One of the questions is, does this day get made up at the end of the school year? And again, no, it doesn't have to be made up. It's considered an instructional day. And then we give guidance to our families and parents, and we update videos every year to make sure that our families understand how to use e-learning. And that is all that I have. Do we have any questions? Yes, Mr. Gallegos.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I think it was called Parent Square, new program this year.
Yes.
Correct? Have we found that there's like a learning curve when we switch to new programs? Either the students' learning curve or the parents, or even teachers for that case, that they're unfamiliar with how things navigate?
With this new communication tool, we have quite a few families that have experience with this, and it literally, from what our understanding is, it takes 5 minutes to learn the new program. We receive surveys, we talk to other districts, we talk to other families that it is really easy to navigate. And so we're in the process of training our principals, the executive cabinet, and then we'll push out everything to the family. So we have not found, or at least with this product, it has been seamless is what the feedback that we've heard.
Okay. And have there been like overlaps in programming? Like, are we paying for old programming that we used to use? Are we still like keeping those old programs alive?
So the contract with the previous, in Parent Square, what we found is that it will eliminate probably about 5 or 6 programs that we use. So there may be some overlap, but the big program that we use, that contract ended on June 30th. But if there was a need, our IT team is prepared. If an emergency had to go out before everyone is trained, they can get that emergency link out to our families. And then any other contracts, we're ending them slowly as teachers and staff and families learn how to navigate this new system.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do have one question.
Yes.
Regarding the e-learning days. How are the e-learning days, how are they differentiated between emergency days? What actually constitute an e-learning day? Can we take an e-learning day when it's considered a snow day or something like that?
Yes. So the old term was snow day. So now we use an e-learning day. So when we had a snow day before, you got to stay home and you got to play in the snow or snuggle up. And so in lieu of that, you get to learn. And we don't stop your learning, and you don't have to make that up, and you don't have to be in school to the middle of June. And so we swap one for the other.
And how many do we have?
We have 5.
We have 5.
We can use up to 5. And if any point that the superintendent decides that we don't want to use an e-learning day, that we'd rather make that day up, I can tell you from all the surveys, no one has said they want to add those days to the calendar. So, but if there was a reason why, a compelling reason why the superintendent wanted to say we're going to make that day up, we do have that as an option.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yes.
All right, this is good.
We send a survey out each year to say, do you have access? Of course, during the pandemic, we had things like hotspots and things like that. We asked parents, how do you want us to communicate with you? We don't have hotspots any longer. But again, those students get extra time to make up those days if they don't have internet at home. But if you wanted, like the last year's survey, I could get you those numbers in the FYI.
I'm just curious more so outside of e-learning days, the need for internet access at home during the first school day throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I wondered how that correlated to this, even if it happens, and are they struggling if they don't have internet at home on the other hundreds and some days?
Usually, and I will tell you, our office gets phone calls throughout the year. Since the pandemic, I can tell you that we haven't received probably more than one phone call. And then we tend to look at internet carriers that can offer support to families that we no longer offer because those grants expired.
All right, seems like a really good initiative, good program.
Yes.
You got a little experience with it already, so keep it going.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Perkins, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Can I have a motion to close public hearing on e-learning?
Moved.
Moved by Jamie,
Second.
second by Alex. Any questions, comments? If not, roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Ms. Woolfolk,
Aye.
Site Stumbers is an aye. Mr. Gallegos,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye. Our motion carried. That leads us to public comments. Any electronic public comments? We do have one. Any other? Okay, we do have a public comment for the naming of the softball field. And I'm trying to pronounce this guy's name here. Nelson Holmberg.
You go away for, you leave for a few months and you're forgotten. Thank you, Board, President Brown, Superintendent Coglanies. I'm here tonight to support the naming of the softball field and to honor Sue Giantonio. Just want to let you know a little bit about Sue as you make that decision. First attending Crete Elementary School through graduating at Crete Monee High School in 1975 to presently dedicating her time in Crete Boosters, Sue has been a Crete warrior all of her life. During her senior high school year at Crete Monee, she was voted Female Athlete of the Year, leading her teammates in the sports of softball, volleyball, basketball, and field hockey. She then attended Eastern Illinois University, earning her degree in education. After graduating from EIU, she knew her heart belonged back at Crete, and Sue established her physical education teaching career within the Crete Monee School District. Her softball accomplishments and achievements exemplify the devotion and love that Sue had for this game. She coached here for 32 years, from 1986 to 2017. That's 530 wins. The softball Warriors were 10-time Sitka South Conference champions. They were one-time regional champions in 2005. She was two-time Coach of the Year. She was inducted into the IHS BCA Softball Coaches Hall of Fame in 2011 and named the Times Newspaper Coach of the Year in 2013. Sue had 52 players who went on to play college ball, and she had 2 players who went on to coach college softball. Her dedication to every athlete, determination for a team win, and focus on success on and off the field is what made her coaching career victorious. Sue's motivation created a significant impact on her students, fellow staff, and coaches, and most importantly, her athletes. Her historic presence that she built on the softball field will be forever remembered. And her athletes, her players, lovingly called her Coach G. So tonight, I'm asking you to vote yes to name the new softball field the Coach G Field. Thank you.
Did she ever beat Thornwood?
I don't know.
I'll say yes.
If she did, I don't think I can do it.
Thank you so much. Still want to call you President Albert. That was very, very, thoughtful and heartfelt words that you read. A true legend, to say the least. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. All righty. Any other? Usually we don't comment on public comments, but if you'd like to say a couple words, you could. If not, any board updates?
Update. I just wanted to congratulate, even though he's not here, Mr. Mueller on the birth of his third baby boy today. So, Mr. Mueller, the athletic director over at the high school, his wife gave birth to a baby boy. So, congratulations to the Mueller family. And then the other thing is, and I know you all went on a tour, but I was going to say this before I knew you were going on a tour. I love the progress of the athletic complex and the way everything is taking shape. I've been over there several times to see. What I didn't realize is we had a cross-country trail where we run meets all the way back there throughout. That's pretty neat. I hope that Jason and his crew takes care of it. I'm giving you a hard time, Jason. Just joking. You do a good job. Y'all do a good job with it. But yeah, those are the two things that I wanted to say. I love the tour. I love seeing the complex and even talking to some of the workers out there during like off hours and nobody's here. They're really excited. They seem to be pretty dedicated to it, and they're doing a good job.
Thank you. That was on the board updates. Any other comments? on board updates?
We also took a tour of the our farmland, and I saw it when it was in its infancy, when it was just tilled.
When it was seeds.
Yeah, when there was just seeds, just dirt out there, and I was impressed then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw it this time, I'm like, wow, like this is really taking off.
Wow.
It's just really good to see. I can't grow anything to save my life. So seeing a whole like field full of stuff that's growing and stuff that's going to be eaten by the community, like that's just
And board members.
and board members, sure. It's just so impressive. These kids just really knock it out of the park.
Okay, great. Anything else? Yeah, and I just echo, again, I had a sit down with the high school principal a few days ago, and we walked the agriculture parcel there, and I let him go on his way. We had some good conversations on quite a few matters, and after we walked the agriculture parcel, I came over and looked at the stadium complex and saw the progress, and that was just a few days ago, and now the turf is down. I saw it all rolled up, and I was able to, again, as Dr. Hall alluded to, talk to a few workers offline. They were on overtime, doing off normal business hours. So, yeah, it's a great project, and I give kudos to, obviously, Dr. Coglanese and her staff, and specifically Jason, who's picked up the ball and ran with it, and he's right there, and I'm so elated to see in our FYI, because I'm all about a plan, working a plan. We talked about the critical path. You got a Gantt chart in there. I'm seeing those milestones, so that did me well to see that you're just not throwing stuff together. You got a plan, and you're working a plan. So, and you guarantee us you're going to be ready for the opening day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The only thing I ask is if that you talk to the workers on overtime, that may blow the budget, President Brown, because I know how you like to ramp
It was
up
only
that.
two guys.
Okay, good. So let's make sure.
And I was able to speak their language electrically, okay? So, so that
Thank
was
you.
good.
I wanted to say one more thing. I did get a chance to see the farm. That's a beautiful thing. I love it. It made me think today I drove by Chicago Ag, and we're not there yet, but anyhow, the summer programs that they had as well for the girls basketball camp and the boys, it was the girls camp was really, really well attended. They had so many former players come back. They had a lot of community support. I mean, it was over about 50, 60 kids, and then to see the University Park Lions using the facility to do some things inside. I love how we're bringing the communities into the buildings to see the high school, and I love the job that they're trying to do to keep the community going, to keep the community home and everything. And so that was the other thing I wanted to add.
Okay, great. And I did point out, Dr. Hall, when we was out there about that field in the back was cross-country land. I ran that personally with my daughter, tracking her down when she ran 20-some years ago. It's just ironic that my wife was showing some home videos, and it was that course out there. I'm like, wow, remember that 20-plus years ago. All right, thank you so much. No further board updates. We have administrative updates. Dr. Coglanice.
Yes, I
Superintendent,
have.
Good news.
I have very good news. I'm going to ask Dr. Perkins to share.
Check?
No, sir.
Oh, no.
No, sir.
Ain't that good.
It's doubled from last time.
Double for less.
Pass that to Cheryl and get Jimmy.
Jamie.
Good evening again. The board has been receiving updates there is a check in the mail, not made out to you, Dr. Hall. But they have received information on a donation of a smart lab. And we are looking to break ground or have that shared space completed once summer school is complete at Monee Elementary. And so I wanted to go over that. The Compost Foundation, with the work of OTL and Mr. Gennardo, our director of OTL, work with this foundation that is donating, I think it's around $172,000 to have this lab installed. As you know, we already have 2 labs in the district, smart labs, STEM labs, at Balmoral Elementary and Talala Elementary. And so they will be donating this lab to Monee Elementary. This foundation that we're working with has donated 13 labs across the United States. In the Midwest, we were chosen because we get to take a look at our students and the pathway, and we get to say, as students are identifying themselves as being ready for STEM lab learning in that experience, where does that take them? And we have an opportunity as a pre-K-12 district to show that off. And so for right now, they will be funding that lab and covering the design, production, and installation. Part of what they ask as part of the branding is that it is named Compost Smart Lab at Monee Elementary. Dr. Coglanice is working with that committee on the naming of that lab. And again, sharing our research of as students identify themselves, and we had started some platforms of working to help our students as early as kindergarten, starting to identify what they want to be so that we can create these pathways as they go through our educational system. Construction will begin at the end of summer school, so we are elated that we will be able to offer that to our families. If you remember, we opened up the 2 labs last year at at Balmoral and Talala, and we had a ribbon cutting ceremony. With this donation, we will do a check cutting ceremony as we work with that foundation and also with the employees of Compost as part of a partnership, making sure that our families and our students understand that there are engineers and careers that they can have as we build this student-centered way of learning and experience. The 5 components of keeping students engaged, that these are standards based curriculum that we are using, and it aligns to the work. And again, we're starting our labs service right now, students 3rd through 5th. We're looking for funding possibly this year to take it down to 2nd grade, and eventually all 5 elementary buildings will have smart labs, and we will offer the experience for grades K-5. We have hired the 2 facilitators that will go between the 3 buildings, and again, teaching students from 3rd through 5th or 2nd through 5th. Any questions?
Okay, so you said Talala, Balmoral, and now Monee is getting it.
Correct.
Correct. So what are we missing? We're missing CSK and Crete Elementary,
Correct.
right?
And right now, probably as we speak, Mr. Gennaro is working his magic to try and get Crete built with some type of facility this year.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's really good.
And then CSK, we decided because it was already inquiry based but we are still working to put a lab there as well.
This is awesome. Just good news. When I saw that, I mean, it did my heart well to see that. You know, it's academically driven, and I was privileged to be part of the ribbon cutting for Talala and Balmoral last year. Or was that last year or early this year? But this school year.
Yes.
And now to see we are continuing to progress ahead. So until we get them all covered, you know, we can really smile. So good job, good job well done, as I say.
Thank you.
And your presentations, I like that. I don't know, you can tell me offline. I don't know if you want to reveal who does the presentations.
Mrs. Camp, our systems coordinator, does our presentation.
Oh, wow.
So we give her my chicken scratch, and then she turns it
Wow,
into this
just-
beautiful piece.
Yeah, so professional, so
Thank
very
you.
professional. All righty, keeping on, Dr. Cognice with administrative updates on Alpha number 2.
Yes, I've asked Mr. Robin Tobias to just present tonight and give the board an update. As you know, we've been working very hard the last few years on really building a premier safety and security program here in the district. So I've asked him to share some of the latest updates. He's given you a couple little cards at your desk that he can refer to. And then he's also invited some guests in our audience that we want to make sure that we recognize a little bit later.
Ready for me?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
Good evening, board. Thank you
Good
for having me
evening.
here this evening. I did bring, they came on their own accord, thank you, 3 special guests with me tonight. I want to introduce them quickly, and then I want to highlight their special qualities when I get to the end of the presentation here. With us, we have Officer Ramon McAlpin from Monee Police Department.
Okay.
We have Officer Joseph Rod from the Crete Police Department, and we have Officer Al Taylor from Crete Police Department.
I think all 3 of them gave me tickets.
They're,
I'm just kidding.
they're not just here to keep me on track with time, but they can enforce that if you need them to. They are a primary essential tool with our first responder relationships, and I thank them for donating their time here this evening. As I cover a few topics, I have a lot of eye candy I'd like to get through for you. My goal is to give you a taste of where we are, where we've been, and where we're going over the last so many months and couple of years with safety and security in this district, really highlighting the concepts of what we do, when we're doing it, who's involved with it, what decisions we're making, how are those decisions being made, And then how do we exercise the concept of rehearsal, drills, along with if we have any events, minor or major, how are we recovering from that? Where are we doing that, and with whom are we doing that with? This statement here, I just want to pause a second because this is going to be a highlight of where I go this direction with some of my themes throughout every building this year. We can be safer. And I want to emphasize that because I want people to feel safe. As a building administrator, I've heard it said that there are two primary goals to a building principal: academic excellence and school safety. And really, you can't have academic excellence unless people feel safe and are comfortable. So emphasizing school safety becomes the priority across the board for all our building administration and district initiatives. But I want people to understand that we can be safer, which means it's important for people not to feel comfortable. It's important for people to realize that we need to do more and always be on our guard. So that's kind of the purpose of we can be safer. Be on your guard. Don't let it down. We don't want to get complacent in a situation where human error overlooks something, and then we have mistakes that happen and put situations, elevate them or put them in danger. With that, I want to concentrate on a few areas this evening to give you an understanding of where we're at in emergency management, our communication protocols, what levels we have in emergency response, where we're at in managing threats. Part of what we're doing in emergencies and readiness is not just responding to an event, but managing it, which means our language, our protocols, our relationships, how we interact together under the umbrella of CM201U has been a primary purpose of my department. Every school exists in its own community uniquely, but we want to emphasize where we're at in our blanket protocols across the district. Our language, our identifying drills, our factors, how we debrief, our roles and responsibilities across the district are identical, from our district office all the way down to our ELC and all the buildings and levels in between. And they are mirroring where our first responder relationships are across the board from community to community. I want to highlight some upgrades we've had over the last several months and years. We are currently embarking on a security camera upgrade, making our systems more digitized, adding cameras. We're able to do that through a grant. That grant is covering this process and other initiatives we have tagged with that. But some of the foundation of where we at with implementing further software, AI-oriented software, we have to start with our security cameras and upgrade that and bring parity across our schools. So we're doing that, and that project has embarked itself throughout this last school year. And one of our last stops is the high school building right now, and our goal, that project will be finished for all buildings as we get ready to start this new school year with updated digital cameras, updated software, and playback, record, enhanced Zoom capabilities, and the ability to add more AI software programs to it if we can in the future. Go bags,
excuse
and
me,
ICS
Robin.
bags.
Excuse
Yes, sir.
me real quick. Jason, was security part of the sports complex, adding cameras, additional cameras, and things of that nature?
Yes, Mr. Tobias has been heavily involved in the planning process.
Okay, so all of that security work will be completed prior to opening day as well?
How much on the sport complex, I don't know yet.
But at least the football field?
I think that's going to be a primary goal.
Okay.
We know what we want, we know what we need, and we know what the infrastructure is going to be. If all those foundational points are in, then we'll be able to install the cameras and have eyes on that new facility ASAP.
Okay, if Dr. Carey, if you can give the board an update on, to ensure us, if all possible, that security will be in place prior to the first day of use of that football field. If that was a plan, and if we could, I would like it. I don't know the rest of the board. I would like security, if there was a plan to have it completed. Whatever we can do, let the board know if we are going to complete it, if that was our goal to complete it, and if we're not going to complete it, the reasons why for
Yes, sir.
security. Just for the sports complex, the football specifically, that prior to our first game.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know the timeline with some of those security upgrades are fluent with what the construction project is. So when we open it for public use, we should have those parameters, but I know Jason and I will check that timeline. We were looking at not just what our sport facility needs are, but part of that was we lacked significant coverage in our drives and the parking lot area, especially far from the building.
Yeah.
And part of those camera upgrades are going to play off the field complex to give us some increased coverage that way too. The timeline on that is still in the works, but that is also going to be what we have with our upgrades, is better coverage across our parking lot.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt you during your presentation.
No, you're
but
good.
I thought that was a place to fit that in. Thank you.
Not a problem.
All right.
Any questions on our upgrades? They're fluent right there. We're also working on reunification kits, which I'll cover in terms of outfitting all of our buildings. If we have an event that we have to leave the building, evacuate, maybe go to another site to account for all our students and staff so we can dismiss them to home properly, all our buildings will have a special kit that organizes itself in a fashion for any administrator to be able to execute a return to home practice for our families and get people there safely. One of the areas I want to cover briefly this evening is just our emergency responses and protocols. They cover a number of areas with our staff, along with how we implement that with our parents. We have a number of documents here on the screen that showcases itself to educate and train our staff with. Our emergency operation plan is a district-wide plan. Our crisis operation plan are building-based plans, significant for each individual building. The operations are uniform across the district under our umbrella, but they do adjust themselves for the uniqueness of the needs of that community with first responder needs. We've upgraded all our maps as well across the district, not just our architectural maps, but macro and micro maps that make the use of where our first responders are going to an event, how they stage outside for an event, how they enter the building, where they should enter the building, what classrooms are labeled. All that's referenced in our map materials as well, available to all our administrators and our first responders, as well as the Joliet Laraway 911 communication system. So if there was such an event that local authorities were engulfed with or couldn't handle completely, and we had responses coming from outside of the area, our resources are available to those, so we're saving valuable time on people getting the information they need, as well as responding to the right site and where to go on that site. And our last document, the ERM, we've referred to it, their emergency response manual, is what we're using, brand new, just kind of created it. We're getting it to print for all our administration. That will highlight more so, in a nutshell, our emergency response plans, procedures, and the big highlight of it is the reunification process along the way. And it'll emphasize our drills, just a sample of what we do within this district. We do more than what's requested by the state or Will County, as well as our hold and secure procedures. We actually do an earthquake drill at least once a year across the district. That is the one drill we do at the very same time across the district. Same date, same time. It's usually second Thursday of October, right around 9:40 a.m. It follows on the date National Earthquake Awareness in October there, and it's a unique drill that we do to Crete Monee School District. Not a lot of schools do that or embark on that type of drill, but we include that in our practices as well as our personal safety options that we emphasize with Alice. This is just a sample of when we go into lockdown or active threat scenarios, we want to get people to understand, don't freeze. You might have to lock down, you might have to move, cover, conceal. If you can evacuate and get away from the threat is what we're teaching. And if you are in a lockdown situation, we're emphasizing make sure that that door, wherever you're at, barricade, it's locked, it's secure, it's latched, lights are off, and you stay out of sight until first responders come and get you. And if your next option is the convenience of evacuating out a window or to a side door, then we're teaching that and preaching that as well. We've done that in a very minimal threat situation in terms of trying to not traumatize our students and staff, but we are emphasizing the importance of these types of drills, lockdowns, lights off, barricading rooms, and responding to things appropriately and in a timely fashion. And that's our ALICE protocols there that we emphasize with our personal safety options. And that kind of takes me to give you a taste of threat assessment. We are very unique, I think, in not just as a school district, but all of Will County with what we emphasize with threat assessment. You'll hear various terms as far as behavior threat assessment, campus threat assessment, threat management, threat prevention. It's all the concept of threat assessment and management. We do that because of the state mandate. These 6 positions associated with the school must sit on our threat assessment team. We also include the school nurse. Not a lot of schools do that, but we emphasize the need to have our nurse on our threat assessment teams because that person knows our students at times better than anybody else. They're the safe spaces for nurses. Kids have an owie, sometimes require a Band-Aid, and the nurse is that comfort zone for them. The nurses also know their medications that they may be on. So in terms of understanding what our students are going through outside of a classroom environment and sometimes associated with their personal home environment, our school nurses are amazing being a part of these teams and giving some insight and understanding to help us realize if we have a significant threat or something that's modifying the student's behavior outside of those temperamental moments. Threat assessment, in a nutshell, is simple. It's preventing targeted violence. We do that by 4 steps. We're identifying a situation or a person of concern. We're gathering evidence and information about that situation as quick as possible, assessing it and evaluating it, and then deciding how we can manage it. And the whole goal is preventing targeted violence before something occurs. We value the concept to see something, say something, hear something, say something, and we're trying to emphasize it's not a tattletale role by students and staff, but it's an information role. Our students hear of things, know of things, see things posted on social media before we do as staff members, before first responders do, and we want students to be comfortable and find an adult that they trust and bring this information to us so we can verify if it's legit or if it's a misunderstanding, and we can move through a process of making a better understanding that way. But it's really just trying to prevent targeted violence before it occurs. We do that with 2 different teams. We have a district team, our DTA team, District Threat Assessment Team, and it emphasizes itself as policy oversight. Up until a couple years ago, all we did was have a district team, which served the needs of threat assessment by the state mandate, but it did not necessarily meet the immediate needs of a building when it occurred. After that, over the last couple of years, we developed school threat assessment teams, the STAT, and those are site-based, individual for each building, led by the building administration with people trained at that building to go through the threat assessment process, which allows our district team, including myself, to be the liaison, to be the support staff, to be the oversight, to make sure we're not overlooking anything from the building level. But we do that with 2 different teams, our district team and our school-based team. We also work through risk assessment and threat assessment. They work together in a sense, but they're different, and this is what I emphasize in my trainings with regards to what we do with threat assessment. We are becoming the model of Will County schools, and we are being based in terms of what our process, our procedures are, how we emphasize and move through team work in threat assessment, how we train, the documents we use, the protocols we use. We are following the Fairfax County, Virginia school system model, which is developed from the Secret Service and the FBI, and those have made their way into private businesses and schools, and we're using that model to employ what we need to not just meet our state mandates, but to prevent targeted violence. So we've been reached, a lot of schools have reached out to us, the Will County ROE has reached out to us, and we're becoming a standard for other schools with how we model this and how we employ and implement our threat assessment process. And we do that by understanding the difference between risk assessment and threat assessment, where risk assessment is kind of the basic one-on-one immediate investigative understanding. Are we dealing with an adolescent misunderstanding in the playground, or are we dealing with something that's more significant and more severe, and somebody who's thinking of threats or making threats might actually have those resources to follow through with those threats, and that leads us to the actual threat assessment process. Just a highlight of what our levels of concern may be when we deal with a threat, and we're trying to understand what priority. Is it something that is misunderstanding, banter between kids, or is it a very serious element where there is murder, death, kill in somebody's thoughts? It's on paper. They see no other outlet but to commit violence towards somebody, and that's a significant concern that we need to involve other resources outside of the school at times too, and try and create a better path for somebody if we can, or work with outside resources to rectify the situation as quick as possible, so we can not just have the safety of that person, but the safety of all the other students and staff at school along the way. And it just highlights where we're at with threat assessment, what we're doing for Will County. It's evaluating a lot of different variables. It's not just what somebody said and what somebody's thinking and what they won't do or what they will do. We are going to make decisions based on facts and not hearsay. We might start an investigation and we might start an inquiry and might start gathering data based on hearsay, but we will make decisions based on where the facts are and putting the puzzle pieces at the table. So we have to understand the variables that exist in what the mindset is and what people have resources to and what was really said as opposed to what was perceived. There's a difference between posing a threat and being perceived as a threat. And we don't want to get kids in a situation where misunderstandings label them in circumstances that prevent them from growing out of that. So, which is why we have to have a clear, investigative, and I want to emphasize the word systematic process. We're not just putting pieces together and assuming the puzzle will make itself. We're gathering as much evidence as possible, gathering as much witness statements, working with our first responders at the table to understand something internal and external, and we will make clear decisions based on those facts that will benefit everybody along the way. And that kind of leads us to going from our communications threat assessment to an incident command situation, and emphasizing always being ready with this. Our incident command system, as it's referred to, is highly coveted by first responders, mostly the fire department. The police are just starting to get enrolled with that as well, but it's something I've been training our administrators on and emphasizing our roles and responsibilities during an emergency as it's occurring. What actions are we taking? Who are we taking those actions with? And then how are we managing it once we have control of the situation? And we're emphasizing kind of the word PIE, P-I-E-E, or P-I-E. Our priorities, what intellect and intel do we have of the situation, and what environment is taking place, because ultimately the decisions we're making will be affected by variables, but the environment will kind of dictate our tactics along the way. And when we're talking about incident command, that's one of the handouts or samples I gave you. There is a visual sense of our administration identifying their role internally at the building level, but understanding who's filling that role, and if the lead person isn't there, who's filling that role, and if that person isn't there, who's filling that role. Often we have absences, we have meetings, administrators aren't always in the right place at the right time, they're doing evaluations, they're not always in the main office to greet a threat or to analyze a situation or make decisions. How are we training our support staff to also assist with that process as well? And really it's, again, identifying your roles in an event. And this screen here kind of highlights where our superintendent's office is as we identify maybe low-level or high-level threats. How are people going to perform those duties? Those samples I gave you are foam boards, so they can be used with markers, our dry erase board markers, that can be fluid and changing daily, or can be used for tabletop exercises as we do them. I've provided samples to our first responders for our tabletop exercises as well, but it's meant to emphasize that during an event, we can't overlook anything. Everybody has to have a role, all the way down to our tech person, our food service person, our custodial person, our other support staff and teacher aides. We just can't declare an emergency and move to some solution without including all the valuable parties that will help us accomplish that solution and not be overlooked at the same time. And along with that, we have identified where our leadership roles would be for the building level during a significant event. And this could be something, a basic evacuation that we rehearse due to a gas smell or a fire drill. Or we have a significant event during a lockdown, an act of violence, or something in the community that we have to take issue with. And we need people to understand what roles they may have in those types of emergency along the way. And this is the same language our first responders use, the same language FEMA and NIMS use, and all their emergency response locally and federally. And we're training our staff to understand that. So when first responders arrive to the scene, we can speak the same language and speak to the same identity of who's in charge and what the needs are of the moment, rather than everybody guessing who's who. And really the most important thing is the continuity of a situation. So from Dr. Kara's office and the superintendent's office, they can have a chain of command, and that can be executed at the building level too for a significant event. And if we're all speaking the same language and we're all identifying our same roles, and we needed leadership from another building to move to another building. For example, if I had to take the leadership of Talala and move them over to Balmoral Elementary for assistance, we know what our roles are if we have the identifying features, and we're working on it together, we're training it together, we have our identification sheets and our dry erase boards. Everybody can accomplish the same task working as a team and not feeling like it's a mystery when you go over to another building. And that's kind of the goal we've had with our Crete Monee CM201U umbrella over everything, is getting everybody on the same page, and every building can function the same way during an emergency. And that leads us to the concept of reunification, and we're emphasizing always be prepared. Reunification in its simplest form is done every single day. We do it at dismissal. We get kids on buses, we get kids walking home, we get parents or kids in cars with parent pickup. We have other after-school services and daycares that work through that. We go through a reunification process every day through dismissal. The significant difference with this process is we could have a significant event that prevents us from having normal dismissal procedures, normal procedures for returning people home. It could mean people are injured and hurt or incapacitated in a way, and we have people maybe going to the hospital, we have people being triaged on site, and our goal is to account for everybody. So in terms of rapid significance with a major event, our goal is staff and student accountability and safety, making sure we can account for where everybody's at and their condition, and then making decisions through, again, our incident command system that we did in the general form. We're now applying that to a reunification procedure, and we're doing that in two ways. We could have an impacted site where the event takes place, and now we've got to account for everything on that site, and we could also be working with the admin at that site or incapacitated for whatever reason, and we've got to move administration from one building to another building to lead on that site. And if we're training and working through language and using the same forms and the same documentation, then we can do that with competence and confidence from one building to the next. And that's kind of the design of this reunification process, is the checklist, titles for everybody, understanding where we're at, because ultimately if there's a significant event, our EMS shows up, our police show up, our fire individuals show up, they are going to be there to neutralize a threat, start the process of triage or mobilizing people, but the concept of reunifying and accountability falls on us as a school district. We are responsible for accounting for what staff we have, what students we have, and who do they go home with in any case. And that's the whole point of reunification. And whether it's at the impacted site or preparing an identical feature for the relocation site, which means something happened at Balmoral, we had to evacuate perhaps, we've got a long period of time that we have to account for things, we'll be getting transportation to that site and moving them to a relocation site, say the high school. Accounting for everybody there, going through a process of making sure we have everything in order, and then we would go through a dismissal process from that secondary site. And then we would have a leadership board, just as we're going through here, just as I've given you a sample there in terms of the relocation and the impact site, to come up with our leadership, our assignments, getting extra staff on site, extra first responders on site to assist us with making sure we've got everybody accountable, and the goal is everybody goes home safely at the end of the day. And that's going to be accomplished with our kits that we put together, with significant items within those kits to help us balance out what our needs are, where we're going, relocation or the impacted site, and moving forward through those identities of what's working and what's not working so we can debrief properly. And again, it's all about accounting for people, getting people home, and having a readiness level that we're prepared for should an event happen unexpected as well. As I get ready to conclude here, thank you for paying attention thus far, I want to acknowledge our first responder relationships and my three special guests here. I am so appreciative of these gentlemen spending time listening to me, for number one. But taking their time and dedication. I recently finished my own school resource officer certification and training, and it enlightened me even further to the value of what an SRO is for a school. It's beyond officer friendly, but it's also a juvenile advocate at the same time. And before I go any further, I want to, if I can, honor Officer Al Taylor, if he would come up here. Officer Taylor has served as an SRO with our school district, primarily being stationed at the high school, but his chief has been amazing over the years, letting him get to our other buildings. Al will be stepping away from SRO duty significantly associated with the Crete PD, returning to patrol duties along the way, but I know he's gonna be with us and a resource. Officer J-Rod will be taking over as SRO, associated with Crete Police Department, assigned to the high school, but will have the same opportunities to get to our other buildings as needed, just as Officer McAlpin representing Monee. He's stationed at Monee Elementary School, but he has been able to get to our other buildings, visit our other buildings, go through threat assessments, go through unique situations, be there as a partner. I'm appreciative of these gentlemen taking their time doing that, and their department leadership letting them branch out across other jurisdictions. My goal is that we will work with UP to get a resource officer assigned from University Park someday, as well as a partnership with Park Forest. It kind of is mentioned that we should have a school should have a school resource officer, one for every 900 to 1,000 kids, and we have, I think, over 4,000 students assigned to our district. So we have two full-time ones that we have during the school year. It'd be nice to branch that out when resources and the right personnel make that happen. And in honor of Officer Al Taylor's service, I have a certificate of appreciation for him here that recognizes his efforts, his work, as well as a little thank you gift card. As Al steps down, I know he's going to be working to, oh, we have a photo op, is that? Oh, okay. I cannot thank Al Taylor enough for all the time, personal time. He is an outstanding individual, has been an outstanding officer, and has been an incredible advocate for our students in the school as well as being a curriculum participant with our driver's ed program and our public safety reasoning as well. I know he's going to do well as he transitions Officer Rod into the building, and we'll have that starting at the start of the school year. But I wanted to highlight our partnerships along with the SRO program, because I think it's important people understand the SRO is more than just our DARE officer or officer friendly. They are a unique individual. They are carefully selected as it's described. They are specifically trained, not just as a police officer, but to be a juvenile advocate within the school and understanding first responder and solo response tactics should something sour show up. And they're properly equipped. They're a police officer. They're in uniform for most of the time. They have some other duty gear they can wear as well, but they have their vest, they have their sidearm. They had all the equipment they need to fulfill the police officer and first responder roles in those categories. And as they are a police officer, they're able to bring the uniqueness and hybrid where we're at as far as our gray areas of school needs and school discipline that overlap with street offenses. And they can educate kids on the right and wrong from hallway elements into the street without having to be a disciplinarian to them. That's the job of our administration. The goal of the police officer within the school is to make sure we've got our state mandates to be a resource for the administration on things, but their job isn't to get somebody. They're a juvenile advocate. And I've seen Al Taylor do that quite a bit in his career in a positive way. But they also function as a public safety educator, getting into classrooms, being a resource, being a positive aspect to where we're at in terms of how students understand and behave, and knowing the right and wrong. And then also they function as an informal mentor and counselor. Being there for them, being an advisor for them, getting information to administration when they're recognizing things about students. The goal of that SRO is to build trust and get students to appreciate the role of that police officer outside of the school at the same time. And I've known a lot of SROs to kind of be the best advocate at times and the biggest recruiter for students that have an interest in being a first responder at times. So good SROs will also work outside of the school and be a community resource at the same time. As I conclude here, this is the post we use in a lot of our debriefs and our understandings of circumstances. We always reflect on what our priorities are in a circumstance. Have we met our objectives? What are they moving forward? Do we have the right strategies to respond to something? What did we employ? What do we need to think about with our incident command and roles? And what tactics do we have when we're dealing with the environment and working with an event? Is it wait, listen? Is it react now? The significant and specific training people have as an SRO are putting them in a situation to have to make quick decisions and react significantly towards an event and neutralize a threat if they have to. And I trust and count on these guys to do that daily with their jobs. Thank you. Any comments or questions?
I do.
Yes.
Are SROs the only ones who are allowed, only police officers that are allowed in the school?
No, any officer is welcome into the school.
Okay, and are there any women?
We don't.
Okay.
As far as not associated with Crete and not Monee, I don't think. I'm not aware of one with University Park. Park Forest does have a couple women officers and detectives that I met and we've worked with, primarily spending time at Talala when they've worked with that, but those are welcomed elements. I know police departments are, it's a high standard they have in wanting those types of individuals, and sometimes our local departments don't always pay as much as other departments. So I've known, we've had a few female officers come through our local departments, and other areas might pay more and snatch them up right away, particularly if they're a qualified, dedicated individual.
But none that work on your team that go through our school district?
Not right now.
Okay.
Other than, I apologize, other than I have a couple names from the Park Forest Police Department, if I needed something significant in that area, I could call on somebody that way.
Awesome.
But nobody right now who is a regular with us.
My last question is in regards to, are there safety metrics that are published publicly? Where I'm going with that is, so you had mentioned that our priority levels of concern, the different colors, red, purple, green. Like, do we know how many reds we had this year, how many purples? Is that published somewhere if I wanted to go look to see how many incidents we've had in our district?
No, it's not published or public, and it's
Okay.
not data the state is requesting right now. It's information I track and keep track of within our schools. So for example, I'll use Balmoral as an example.
Okay.
If they have an issue with a student, let's just say the student brought in a Nerf gun, and we're going to treat that significantly, understanding why, what was misunderstanding, what was the purpose of the intent. If it rose to a level of his intent or her intent was to threaten others with it, it just wasn't a toy to him, but a means to threat, then we move through a threat assessment process. We'd understand, I'd probably document the grade level of that individual, what it was verbally or physically of that item of a threat. We document our procedures in terms of the paperwork, how we host a meeting. We have significant, specific questions we answer and do a Q&A through the parent and the student in that. The process is not meant to be adversarial or based on discipline. It's meant to gather information and try and help somebody and help us if we can. But I do track that data as to what threat assessment meetings we have, and then the outcome of that meeting, what level the team decided they could work with, whether it was a 1, 2, or serious. And then also, once that decision is made, how are we managing it? Is the student receiving outside services that we can coordinate with? Is it full-time outside services that could remove the student from the building in a sense? Or is it something we can handle all internally due to our own resources? But it's not a published piece of data. It's internally right now, so we know what our schools are doing, and we have debriefings we can reflect on to determine if what we did was the best case. Someday the state may require that data, but they're not requesting it now.
Do you use it though to like say, I can say that our district is safer because we had a reduction in purple level priority levels of concern? Or how do you use that? Like,
No, it's more educational and
Okay.
instructional. I wouldn't use that data to indicate or declare anything of us being safer or not safer, because there's not a huge history to that data as to a number of students. We tend to do more, I would define them as threat assessment meetings right now on the elementary level than we've had to experience on the middle school or high school level. And the same parameters are in place, but I credit our elementary principals, big thumbs up to them, because they are working hard to recognize issues students are displaying, trying to understand if it's an adolescent mindset, playground banter, or something more significant that's maybe been undiagnosed. And their goal is to get help and treatment to that student now, whether they're a 4th or 5th grader, and hopefully change their path of violence if they're on one. Because it's not that they would have access to any of those weapons or tools now, but the concern is if we don't try and have an intervention now, maybe when they're 7th and 8th grade and still having these thoughts, they could have access to things that could be brought to school and cause damage. So it's more instructional and informational for us right now, rather than a declaration of we've saved lives because of that. It's a great question. It's just hard to quantify, not knowing the outcome, something that we caught or missed, and then the timeline as to where that has benefited us or hurt us in a future time period. Great question.
I
It's just
believe
hard to answer.
I'm the representative of the board on the safety committee. Is this who I would be Working with, okay.
Oh.
More questions to come.
Well, then you will be loaded with emails and information and
And
invites
so will you.
really soon. Really soon.
I love it.
Okay, fair enough.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Since the addition of the Evolve system at the high school, have you, I don't know, noticed positive, I don't know, outcomes or negatives, or, I mean, what have you seen?
That's an awesome question. And first of all, I've seen great cooperation by students and parents that do walk through those every day. This year with Evolve, we have 7 units at the high school, and a year and a half ago we started with our student entrances and our main entrance. And then we have units at our auditorium and our athletic entrance, as well as our Bridges entrance. But our auditorium and our athletic entrance are big community entrances for people coming into athletic events, choir events, theater events. We've had no issues with public, particularly if we've had a flag and we've had to address that individually with something. How we do it is very professionally, but the reception of what we do has been appreciative. The feedback is positive, so I could quantify just off the top of my head as far as I've had nobody, I've not encountered anybody out of the thousands and thousands of people and times we've had students there, I've not encountered anybody resist cooperating with the process, whether it's a simple walkthrough or a secondary search because of a flag. The results have been positive. I think it's been a great deterrent. Particularly we had them going during our show choir major event that we have annually, where we've got thousands of people in the building. And it was unique because we have our officers there helping out in terms of just security and visualness, but a lot of individuals who aren't local visiting our school thought we had those installed specifically for that event, as if we were anticipating people to be ornery for that event. And our police chief was really good at explaining. Chief Pierce was excellent at explaining what we have, why we have them, how they function, and people were very welcoming to it. So it's invoked conversation. I think it's been a great deterrent, but so far we've had great cooperation of people working with it. I couldn't tell you exactly how much it stopped or didn't stop, because our goal is that nobody's walking through getting flagged at all.
Right.
But I know we've had some adults that were very cooperative and going back to their car to make sure they were ready to walk through a second time and get green rather than red.
Gotcha.
And nobody's argued with anything. Even if it's, the inconvenience of, hey, can we make sure that's an umbrella in your bag and not something else, they have been very cooperative at athletic events, extracurricular events.
Very good.
Mr. Tobias, before you leave, unless there's any more questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you again for presenting tonight. What I asked him to do is to really update you on where we've gone and where we're going with this program. It's a very established program and one that we're very proud of. But as we move forward with this program, the one question I would have for this board is to really talk about your level of comfort in moving forward with Mr. Tobias carrying a sidearm. Many of the directors of safety and security do have those in many of the buildings. And I know Mr. Tobias has been working very carefully with our first responders in training and so forth, and he's not been able to participate in some of that because of that lack of ability. So I think I just wanted to open that up to the board. I know, that's a question that is, a sensitive question in some regards, but I just wanted to open that up to find out what people's level of comfort was, to see if we wanted to pursue that.
I will say, if he can outshoot me, then I would do it, but I doubt he can.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that for Dr. Hall.
No, I doubt he can, but I trust him.
What are criteria?
I trust him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm sorry.
No, I say I doubt he can, but I trust him. I think he.
I
would
guess
say,
personally, given the robust presentation that you just completed, all the knowledge that you have, all the, information is only good as it gets. I guess data, put it like that. If data is not informative, it's no good. You presented a lot of data that's very informative. You got a well-oiled plan. You are in good partnership with the local responders, the officers, And for you not to have a firearm in your possession at all time on school grounds, I think that does not do anyone any good, personally. I think you are very responsible. So for you not to have it, would the reason be you're not responsible? Would the reason be that you're not capable? I don't think that is the case. And I think you went the extra mile just being not only the director of security, but you also, what I heard you say, you just completed a certification for SRO. So we can hire you in 2 positions now.
Yeah.
Okay. No. But thank you, Officer Taylor, as well, for your duties and all you shared with us and your replacement, and all 3 of you for jobs well done and being here for us, making our community and school district safe. So, long story short, I'm all for it.
I'm a firm no, and I will remain a firm no until the end of time.
What would be the reason why we would need that? Maybe I missed some background, but I guess I didn't hear anything that said.
I think it's because other people in his position are able to carry.
Like
If
throughout
they're,
other districts or
yes,
something? Oh,
and then
okay.
with the role that he's in,
He's certified.
his certifications that he has, the fact that he continues to get certified. If they're ever not available in an immediate situation, being
He's our first responder.
right, he would be our first responder.
Yeah, he's just another mitigating force, and he's
Yes.
right there where the rubber meets the road, and he knows the process better than anybody for all practical purposes, being homegrown in our school district, putting the plan together. And for him not to have it, I think it does injustice. And I know that it's, there's some drawback could be, the less guns, firearms we have on school grounds, the better. But this is reality. These days are different than they were years ago. So to have another force to mitigate potential issues out there, I would say, again, I'm all for it.
I'll add, it's a very difficult question. It's not something I would have entertained 3 or 4 years ago. It's not something I'd entertain as a principal or teacher, but having been trained, gone through the Illinois law enforcement firearms training, as well as other tactical response trainings and firearms trainings, knowing that I am the first responder at a lot of our schools, I've become more comfortable with the concept. Knowing that I am restricted at times from some of our tactical drills, because being a school employee technically is my primary position, and not being able to participate other than host some of our significant tactical drills has been difficult at times, but manageable. It's not something I don't stand here and say, please let it happen, but I think it's worth a conversation. I've grown more in understanding to the need, particularly with my trainings over the years too, and what my certifications are.
And what I heard you say multiple times in phrases, may not the exact words were, but the intent was there about de-escalating. De-escalation.
Yes.
De-escalation. That's not going to be my first response to pull a gun on someone. I'm going to try to make the situation calmer, soothe the students or whatever the situation before there's some physical or any other robust action taken. So,
It's the primary tactic of all
Yes.
armed first responders, is de-escalate the scene, and your sidearm is a deterrent and a last resort
Yes.
by any means.
so how do we take a vote on it?
Right
No,
now,
that's not an
I'm
action.
ready for a vote.
Yeah, that's not
No,
an
there's
action.
no
That's
vote
not
to
a- that's
take.
not action.
I just
There's no
wanted to
action.
have this discussion, because this is a big question for everybody, clearly. I think I needed to find out at least where the board was thinking. If the board was going to move forward with there's something that actually has to be done. So we would need to change his job description to include that. And I don't know if we do something with the insurance as well. So there are some things that you would have to vote on or
Yeah,
to
and
move
I like
forward
to talk
with.
about it. I like to hear Jamie take
Yeah.
on it, and Janine's take on it a little bit more, and Bill and Elizabeth as well. But just up front, it sounds like there's a few of us that definitely favor going your way and being will it be a concealed or?
I think that's a discussion. I think if somebody was gonna, in my position, have it, I think having the proper holster, that's a safety
Okay,
holster,
okay.
a certain level,
Okay.
and the visibility of it, I think is appropriate. I do work as an officer in our local communities outside of the school district
okay.
times, so you
Oh.
may see me in uniform and
Oh,
working with our local Crete Police Department, and I'll do stuff across the border with our county as well at times, so.
thought I noticed you gave me a ticket too. Okay.
And also, if there's any other information, because like I said, this was just a discussion tonight, just to kind of feel where folks were at. What other kinds of information that we could provide, either through the FYI or to have you come back for, maybe more details. We can certainly bring that back in August.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you for
your
having me.
team. Great presentation, and appreciate all you do.
And before you leave, I just wanted to give a shout out to Officer Taylor. You've done an amazing job. Ever since I've been here, this has been going to my 9th year, I have found you to be highly professional, reliable, and every time I was out at this building, you were out engaging with students, talking with students, and I've just so appreciated having you there. And so we will miss you, but you do know that you have a spot here anytime to come in for a visit, and I know we'll look forward to having your replacement coming in soon, and I know that the building will welcome him as well. So anyway,
And the
thank you.
replacement name again, I'm sorry, officer?
It's Joseph Rod.
I'm sorry.
Joseph Rod.
Rod, okay. J-Rod, okay.
J-Rod.
J-Rod. Okay, and the other officer he's at the
He's at Monee.
Monee Elementary?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And officer?
Joe.
McKelson,
Yeah.
okay.
They're all
Thank-
wonderful.
Yeah. I can see, they're cool people, all right.
Anyway, so
Thank
thank
you.
you again. Officer Taylor.
Thank you.
All right. Great. All righty. Going to the consent agenda. Is there anyone would like to pull anything out of the consent agenda to be voted on separately? If not, I would like a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Move.
Moved by Dr. Hall,
Second.
second by Alex. Any questions or comments? I would like to bypass all of the numbers. Okay.
Okay, underneath Superintendent Report, Item 1, approve regular meeting minutes of June 17, 2025. Item 2, approve regular meeting first and second closed session minutes of June 17, 2025. Item 3, approve committee of the whole meeting minutes of June 10th, 2025. Underneath business, approve the Board of Education financial report. Item 2, approve final payment of $261,939.21 to CC Holding for work completed at Crete Monee High School. Item 3, approve a payment of $3,119,447.55 to Byrne & Jones Construction for work completed at Crete Monee High School. Item 4, approve the payment of $493,519.59 to Reconstruction for work completed at the Early Learning Center and Talala for summer of '24. Item 5, approve a payment of $566,934.68 to Bear Construction for work completed at the high school. Item 6, approve a payment of $529,875 to Redfold Roofing Company at work completed at Crete Elementary. Underneath Personnel Report, Item 1 is to approve the Personnel Report, which consists of approving certified staff employment, reassignment, resignation, intent to retire, unpaid leave of absence, and educational support employment. Reassignment, resignation, and intent to retire. And for 2, it would be to approve the 25-26 student handbook, and that concludes consent agenda.
Okay, I do have a question. Jason, on the financial report, I know we talked about an executive summary. I didn't quite see that. Was that in the packet? It looked like it was all of 80-page report.
Yes, it was,
It was a summary?
the front page has the footnotes at the bottom of that.
Okay, I must have missed it. Okay. I know we talked about shortening it a little bit, but if the board any board member wanted to see the whole report, they had the luxury to do so. But I ended up kind of filtering through the whole report again. But that's okay. If it was there, I missed it. All right. Any further questions on what was just read out regarding the consent agenda? If not, roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Ms. Woolfolk?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Zeitstumbers is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye. Motion carry. Under 11, action report A, Alpha Board of Education. Can I have a motion to approve the naming of the softball field? Specifically, I think we was looking at
Coach G Field.
Coach G is in golf field. Coach G is in golf field.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hall,
Second.
second by Alex. Questions or comments?
Question. Is it gonna just be the letter G?
Or is it gonna be her
Her
whole name?
And we're
It's
just
just the
calling
letter
her.
G.
I
Is
think it's
that
just gonna be the
The
letter
only
G.
reason why I bring that up is because.
Coach G.
Is that a,
It's Coach
is that
G
a,
Field.
disservice to her with her name?
I think that's
like,
what
would
she-
anybody know what G
I
meant?
think that's what
all.
she wants.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, I think Nelson's kind of speaking.
Working with her family.
okay. Okay, fair enough.
So it's
I
gonna
thought
be
the same thing.
Okay.
I just-
Coach G. Coach G Field.
Okay.
I mean, because like I'm Coach G.
I mean,
That's all right.
it could be anybody's field, that matters.
No,
Check it out.
no.
My
It's,
field.
long as is what
I'm not.
the
gonna-
recipient
I'm not gonna.
wants. Okay.
It's not my.
So, and I just like to add, thank you, Nelson, for reading the heartfelt bio of her. She's, you can't ask for a more well-deserving person. The bio was just,
Can I just make
sure,
a clarification?
sure.
The idea would be have it Coach G Field kind of as the banner, but maybe have a plaque or something, say Sue Giantoni would coach softball from this state and this
Oh, I see.
had 503 wins, something to explain so that as time goes on,
It doesn't get
the way her
lost.
students remember her
Yeah.
will be remembered.
So have something out there at the
Then other
field.
people, as they come
Yeah.
along, will know who Coach G was.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
For that.
So
and we can definitely work on that.
Something like a
We
home
can
plate.
definitely work on
You
it.
see,
Home plate
Yeah.
plaque or
you got
something like
Jason
that.
over there shaking. How much is this gonna cost?
And I like to, even have some type of, she's still around here, right? Is
She
still around?
is. She's at every home football game,
Oh, she-
working, basketball games.
Maybe the
Yeah.
first, we can find, how to really, the first game or something like.
Secretary of Booster Club too, so.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so the motion is out there, but second, we have comment. Roll call, please.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Woolfolk?
Aye.
Zeitstumbers is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye, motion carry. Okay, under 11, action report B, Bravo Business. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the donation to sell or other disposition of surplus property limited to 15 Frederick. K is in Kilo, C is in Charlie, S is in Sierra. 14, A is in Alpha, 10A is in Alpha. 115 volt window air conditioning units stored at the buildings and grounds headquarters.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or
She
comments?
moved it.
Are these the units that was given? So are we looking to donate? It says donate, sell, or others. Are we looking to let them keep what they have? Is that what we're looking to do? Or are we gonna take them back and then give them back?
No, this
What's
is
the
just to really
cover?
memorialize the
Just
the
kinda
donation of them.
got it. So we covered
Because
all
if the board would
bases.
say no, we'd have to ask them for them back.
Indian givers. Okay, got it. And all the board knows what's going on with that, right?
You can't say that.
Well, we'll do that next time.
There we go.
I'll talk to you later. Never mind.
All right, so we got a vote out there. We got a motion second, right? Do we? Okay, any comments other than what I just said?
Nope.
Nope.
Ms. Wolf, oh, sorry.
I missed it.
Roll call, please, Madam.
Aye.
Sorry, Ms. Woolfolk? Aye. Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Zeit Stumbris is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried. All right, I would like a motion under 11, Action Report C, Charlie, Personnel and Culture. A motion to approve the contract for Administrative Dean.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hall,
Second.
second by Alex. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Woolfolk?
Aye.
Zeit Stumbris is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye, motion carried. Moving on to number 12, Teaching and Learning. I would like a motion to approve under 12A Alpha, approve e-learning plan. Moved by Jeannie,
Second.
second by Dr. Hall. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Ms. Woolfolk?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Zeit Stumbris is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye. Motion carried. Any old business? Hearing none. Any new business? Also, hearing none. It leads us to closed session. We do have a reason to go into closed session for the appointment, employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. Can I have a motion to go into closed session for reasons stated?
So moved.
Moved by Alex.
Second?
Is it Jamie?
Yes, sir.
Second by Jamie. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Woolfolk?
Aye.
Zeit Stumbris is an aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Aye, we are in closed session. We will be in closed session for about an hour. We will not take any further actions after that. Thank you, public, for joining us. Please have a safe remaining of your evening. Thank you so much.